All right, what's up, everyone? Another vlog or a video, instructional video in regards to some air struts. This is Squeaky Clean Air Matte, Squeaky Clean. If you want to add us up on Instagram, we could be added up at squeakyclean.tm for regular part sales. We have accounts with various distributors, so if you're looking for air suspension, or if you're looking for car parts or anything like that, hit us up at our main account at squeakyclean.tm, or if you're interested in air suspension, hit us up at Squeaky Clean Air on Instagram. So a lot of people or a lot of clients hit us up and ask us about air suspension and how to adjust your air struts. Well, okay, it's pretty simple. This portion over here is never adjusted because this is where your air sits, and this is where your air is comprised of. So you will never ever adjust the actual air spring. That always stays put. What you can adjust is you can adjust obviously the rotation of the upper mounts in order to be able to adjust it properly on your car. Always try to have the fittings, air fittings, in the back. So this is usually are going to be your rotation. When you get our air suspension air struts, we try to rotate them as easy as possible and kind of have them aligned so they're easy to put on out of the box, and that's what we do. But without further ado, here's what I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, the air spring has a limited amount of air that it could hold. Okay, to get the most optimal ride on air suspension air strut, you're looking at around 60 to 70 to maximum 80 psi in the bag. If you need to inflate your bags because you want to inflate your car and you're driving on a consistent 150, 160 psi, you adjusted your air strut wrong. Because what you're doing is you're overinflating the bag, which means the bag is super firm. Even with the dampness adjustability on top, even if you make it softer, it won't matter because you are riding on so much air and the ride is so stiff that you're getting crazy amount of bounce. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that your maximum amount of pressure inside the bag is between 60 to maybe 80 psi max. Anything higher to be riding on a regular basis is too much. Okay, if you need a momentary lift in order to avoid an obstacle or anything like that, obviously you can go up to maybe 140, 150 psi. That will raise up your front pretty much as high as possible. Go over your obstacle and then go all the way back down to 60, 70 psi, which is your optimal riding height, maybe 80 or something like that. Now, if you need to increase your air pressure all the way up to like 120 just to have clearance to ride, you adjusted your lower mount incorrectly. Okay, which means what you got to do is you have to adjust your lower mount out. So you have to create a larger separation over here. Okay, that's the problem. You never install an air strut by completely having this threaded in, especially on the slim bellows, which is what this is, because the slim bellows ride like crap if you put too much air in them, and there's usually they max out about 120 psi or so, which means that what you got to do is you got to balance your distance between here and your lower mount adjustment, so you're riding at about 80, 70 psi. That's really the key. Okay, now if you are inflating your bag to 150 psi and your car is still not high enough, or you're using a regular bag like a regular airlift bag, or even our regular bags that come on various models, we don't use sleeves, obviously we use slim bellows, but if you use a regular bag, again, you should not have to inflate that bag to 150 psi just to achieve regular lift for regular everyday driving. Okay, if you are, again, you adjusted your lower mount too much in, this distance is too small, and you're essentially using your air, or you're overinflating your airbag in order to achieve the height that you need for daily driving, which means you need to take off your wheels, you need to readjust your air suspension. There is a sweet spot that takes at least a couple days of adjustment when you do your own installations. It is not just put it in and drive right away. it takes some time for you to get the most optimal balance of low, low mount adjustment to the distance separation to how much air you're actually running in the bags. Very important. The most optimal driving is if you have, as I said, 60 to 80 psi and just minor, tiny little bit adjustments on high or hard and soft in order to achieve the right bounce. Never ever ride on like 120, 130 psi. If you are, then it's incorrect installation. Now, depending on this type of bag that you have, slim bellows will not give you a lot of lift. So it's very, very hard to get the right, nice feel and the nice right quality without playing around a lot. Okay, so just be careful when you're doing this. But generally, you got to make sure that there's a nice balance of pressure versus the height of the actual strut, because this is an adjustable coilover essentially, and how much distance you're giving yourself on the upper mount. So if you are requiring to inflate your bag way too much, that means you don't give enough distance between the lower mount and the actual bag itself. Okay, so just make sure that you guys pay attention to that. That's a trick. And that's pretty much it. So squeaky clean air out, and hopefully enjoy your ride, air ride suspension. And bags are awesome if they're installed properly. But like anything, just make sure you know what you're doing, and if it feels wrong, obviously, if it's super stiff, it's usually not the shock problem. It's usually just the installation problem and the way it's set up. So a few tips for you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.